Isn't Luke Black's pilot in these movies? Yeah, he's a pilot. He's like a pilot rocket scientist. He's a pilot and rocket scientist now, which I think is really funny. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games, I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. But now, my friends, we can go ahead and move on to this F9 review. Now, it's going to be very simple. It's not going to be like my spoiler review chat because I know some people haven't seen it. This just came out a couple of days ago, so no spoilers. No spoilers for F9 chat. It's going to be just a general review, kind of my thoughts on the film, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. I want to have a back and forth with you guys, but again, we're not getting into spoilers right now because I don't want to ruin it for anyone, you know? That's what we'll do. That's appropriate chat for right now. Now later, someday in the future, I'll definitely do an F9 spoiler review, a scene by scene breakdown. But now is not the time for that, in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and get into details, at least my detailed opinions on this movie, chat. Well, I'll tell you this. It's interesting with this. Like, this was one of the first big movies to, like, move itself a full fucking year during the time of the pandemic, chat. Because if you remember, like, I think that, like, the first movie that balked, that blinked and went, oh, shit, and, like, moved or, like, delayed itself was No Time to Die, James Bond, No Time to Die, which I saw, like, a new trailer in front of F9. It's like, that movie's been delayed more than any fucking movie. Always a new release date for that film. Coming out in October, by the way. We'll see. But October's going to be a fucking slaughtering ground. Jeez, there's so many movies coming out at this moment. But I know that F9 was one of those other films that also blinked. But they were like, all right, shit. Well, we're just going to delay this an entire goddamn year. You know, we're not gonna beat around the bush. We're not gonna we're gonna delay it a couple weeks. We're gonna delay it 2 months or 3 months. No, they were like, no, full fucking year. And it looks like it's worked out for them for the most part, chat. I mean, this movie, it has a $200 million budget, which actually I'm surprised. I thought it'd be even more expensive with some of the shit that they're pulling off in here, chat. There's a lot of special effects, a lot of CGI, a lot of expensive looking, pretty good looking CGI. A lot of practical effects here. Justin Lin has really become known for that, which I admire him, chat. You know, when he was criticized for his rampant use of CGI in Fast and Furious, the 4th film, and he changed it up with subsequent sequels, chat, in 5 and 6, and did a much better job, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm surprised that it's only $200 million, and I think they use it rather well. And it looks like it's worked out for them in hindsight. I think what the movie's made about $400+ million worldwide. It might have made $404.9 million, which again, you know, it's a far cry from the last couple of films, Chad, especially. Well, I know that Hobbs and Shaw made around like $700 million, which did pretty well for itself. But the two last Fast Furious films, so like F7 made like $1.5 billion, and I think Fate of the Furious made like around 1.2, 1.3, not nearly as much as Furious 7, but close to it, chat. So, you know, I don't know if this movie's going to reach $1 billion. It'll probably do pretty goddamn well on VOD, of course, chat. But looks like it's going to be a success. You know, we'll see in the long run, but you know, I'm hoping for it. But I'll tell you, chat, right at the bat, I'm going to tell you right now, I think this is definitely an improvement over Fate of the Furious. I think one of the big problems I just had with that movie, it was a combination of really two things. I just felt, this is when the franchise just started to feel like a little tired to me. And I don't know if it was just because, like, the scenarios they had crafted, like with Vin Diesel's character, he betrayed the family, which we know didn't really fucking betray the family. I just felt like, all right, that whole premise is like, when's the inevitable he's going to make that turn and he's going to go with the family and save them and shit. It just felt like so obvious, like, okay, just like, we're just kind of like, you know, we're wasting our time. We're spinning our fucking wheels. Let's just get to it. And until it finally happens, like, all right, there we go. We did it. And so I don't know, it just felt like kind of like a waste of time. And like how they treated certain characters too, like the Elena Neves character. I mean, they fucking did her dirty in that goddamn movie, chat. Didn't care for that. And I just felt there was like a lack of camaraderie between a lot of the actors. I just didn't think there was that. You know, there was occasionally some good scenes between, you know, I think Tyrese, you know, he worked rather well with, you know, with Tej, and he had good back and forth with everybody. And also, the movie felt like a springboard for Hobbs and Shaw because the chemistry between Jason Statham and Dwayne The Rock Johnson was really good. And it's like, okay, this movie just feels like setup and it looks like it's spinning its wheels. I really did like Hobbs and Shaw. I give that a high matinee. But I will say that for this movie, I think that the actors have much better chemistry here than they did in the last film. I think everyone gets a lot of fun stuff to do. Some people I was surprised by. I'll tell you what, chat. Like the story overall, it's fucking goofy. The idea that Dom and his sister Mia have this long lost brother Jacob, chat. It's like, okay, at this point, like they never planned for this kind of shit, but let's go for it. It feels like, you know what this feels? It feels like they're trying to find a replacement for the Paul Walker character of Brian O'Connor, where they attempted to do that with Scott Eastwood in Fate of the Furious, and that did not fucking work. He ain't back, by the way. He ain't in this. Scott Eastwood is not in this movie, thank God, okay? Because he just sucks charisma out of a room. So he's not back in this, chat. And they were fucking mistaken to try to even make that attempt. It's a telenovela where the story, it's goofier. The thing is, like, I like the idea of a long-lost brother better than Dom turning evil, because he's obviously not fucking turning evil. It's like, okay. Now, whether John Cena is the best actor of this role, because John Cena overall, I think, is fine as the long-lost brother Jay, which they explain in flashback sequences, chat. They have younger actors playing the roles of Dominic Toretto and Jacob Toretto. And also, Mickey Rourke just plays himself. I love with Mickey Rourke, like, the only thing to differentiate that there's, like, a younger and older version of him. His younger version has a very long, disgusting-looking, greasy mullet, and the older version does not. But he's pretty much the same fucking guy, which I thought was hilarious. But we get to see Dom's dad, which I'm not familiar with the actor, and no offense to him, but I was, like, really hoping if they casted, like, a big-time, like, 80s action star as Dom and Jacob's dad. That would have been great. I'm not too familiar with the guy they got for Dom's dad. Yeah, I'm more proud. He's fine. He does a good job in the movie. He's fine. But it's like, it's whatever. The kid that got to play Jacob, I thought that match, he looks like a young John Cena. I was like, okay, that's fine. The guy that got to play fucking Dom, I'm like, that guy looks nothing like fucking Vin Diesel. I don't know what, like, he has a darker skin tone. He has a different facial. All they did was they kind of gave him he's not exactly bald, but they really, gave him a really short, like, buzz cut. And I'm like, nah, it ain't fucking Dom. Oh, well, who did I say? Mickey Rourke? I'm sorry. Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker, chat. I always say the wrong name. Not Mickey Rourke. Michael Rooker. He plays the one of the like confidants of the family, a friend of the family. That's what it is. I always get their names confused. Yeah, the flashback scenes. Yeah, the flashback scenes. They're trying to, because they have to, because that's the big thing with this movie is they're doing so much fucking retconning to explain the central story of this film that it's like starts as like, okay, a lot of this stuff doesn't, like, I mean, you know what? I will say this. It just, not that it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like, it does make sense. I get it. They explain why Dom and Mia and Letty haven't talked about Jacob of anybody before, because he just hasn't been in their lives for fucking decades at this point, chat. I mean, I love how they explain. They do some great retconning where it's like the Toretto bloodline is very weird. It's been all over the place. Is it Latino? Is it Nordic? Is it Germanic? It's all over the goddamn place. And it could also be that maybe Dominic Toretto's dad. Maybe he had fucking kids of different women. And that's the only. This is not a spoiler review. I ain't spoiling shit. I'm not spoiling nothing. It's just a regular old review, sharing my thoughts of the overall film, just kind of going over the whole general premise, at least at this point, of the idea of the long-lost brother coming back and trying to doom the world, chat. That's what it is. And how they attempt to, like, retcon. Like, the retcons aren't, like, exactly, they make sense. They do make sense. They're ridiculous, of course, but I don't know if they were that great. Again, the guy that got to play Dom, I just like, you're no way you are fucking Dom. That just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, no, you are not that character. You don't sound like him. You don't look like him. You have the different cranial structure. It's like, it just didn't work. I would have preferred if they just CGI'd like fucking Dom's head on a kid or something. Would have been much better, chat. Yeah, I ain't spoiling. I probably should put, like, no spoilers in the chat, but this is just a regular F9 review. So the flashbacks, I didn't particularly was amazed by them or anything like that. Again, they were just there for plot purposes to establish the character of Jacob Toretto. and also to showcase a scene which has always been talked about throughout the franchise of Dom beating this fucking guy to near death with a wrench. And we saw that. We said Ray was Italian. I just assumed Mia got blessed with that lovely Italian tan. Oh, okay. Now, whatever he might be, it's the Italian, the Latino, it's over. He's got his bloodlines all over the fucking place. However, like that, it was fine. Whatever that structure, it's like it didn't bother me too much. That was a little ridiculous, especially with who they casted some of these younger characters. Like, well, I digress. The main story that they all have the family has to come back to stop. And really, it's just we gotta get this MacGuffin. This fucking Jacob Toretto, he's got this new fucking MacGuffin, chat. He's gonna use it to enslave the world. That's the whole fuck. It's like it's the same thing. The same plot. So you have to destroy the world to save the world, and that's Jacob Toretto's big deal. He's been in the spy trade for fucking years, and the family's got to stop him. And what the whole MacGuffin thing, what this really does set up. And it does all the best Fast and Furious films do this is they have the weird MacGuffin that is an end-worlding threat, whether it's the Nightshade, whether it's the God's Eye, whether it's the nuclear codes, that submarine in 8, and now it's I think they call it, what would they call it? Ares, the Ares Project or something. It doesn't matter because what all these MacGuffins do, they set up is that they set up these really fucking cool action sequences and all these great moments of camaraderie and dialogue between the family, chat. And like when the whole team comes back together to do this for Mr. Nobody, which I have a spoilery question about Mr. Nobody, but we won't cover that yet. That sets up the first action set piece. And I'll say, chat, when we go to fucking South America, like that first one, yeah, even before the bridge stuff where, Bridge, fucking Dom and Letty literally attaches his goddamn car to a rope with a fucking hook and manages to swing himself over to the side of a mountain. It's like, even before that, like, it's really good. Like, I love all the choreography for the shooting and the fist fights and, like, the whole sequence. They're going through this entire jungle, chat, and the minefields and stuff. There's a really, really fun sequence with Tyrese Gibson and his car, and I loved how that played out. It was like, it was action-packed. It was really funny. And he sold it. Like, I would say, like, I know that Corey and Martin were talking about this, but Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Natalie Emmanuel, they were all great together. I think all their scenes were some of the best scenes in the movie. Like, all the action sequences that they had, I thought were great. And their chemistry and their back and forth, the three of them did a really good job. And then later on, chat, as we move on, when they bring back, Lucas Black and Bow Wow and I think another character from Tokyo Drift, I have to admit, I really actually enjoyed Lucas Black in this movie. He was a lot of fun along with Bow Wow. They're not in it for a lot, but when they are in it, they're pretty good. It's like now they're official members of the family. I'm like, okay, I wanna see how you use them now because I think they did a good job, and I've made fun of Lucas Black a lot in my review series, chat, especially for Tokyo Drift and my Fast and Furious Saga reviews. But I'm very impressed with what Lucas Black brought to this. He had those comedic chops, and I think it worked. And he had chemistry with all the actors. And him and Bow Wow had a nice rapport. It was fun. It was fun what they kind of do. So yeah, I didn't mind that at all. In terms of like some other characters, like overall, I mean, like John Cena, I think he's fine in the movie. Like he is the main villain of the film. He has like a little toady named Otto who's a spoiled rich boy, and like he's the money. But overall, like the villains are okay. It's not that like John Cena's he's like bad. He's like a bad actor and he's bad in everything. I think like when he's a little more comedic, he's better. He's kind of got like that Chris Hemsworth kind of vibe to him where it's like if you focus more on comedy, I think you do a lot better. Like when I think of like John Cena, like I haven't seen the movie, but when I think of like John Cena when the Suicide Squad, it's like wow, he looks like he's so much fun in that. And like those scenes where he's like talking to Amanda Waller and asking those questions, that does seem so funny. Like there's not a lot of humor for him. He's playing it so straight along with Dom. Like he plays very straight. And again, they have the more dramatic element with him and Letty and Mia because it's about their family and stuff. And so I get why that has to be more dramatic. But at the same time, it's It's not that interesting. Really, all it does is just sets up these fucking moments where they both just furiously angry at each other and they fight each other. And like those are cool moments. Like I like all the like there's not like a bad action scene in this movie. All the action is great. Really love it. Both the ones that are CGI heavy and the ones where it's more practical. Like Justin Lin, he has an eye for action and he's great. Did I see John Cena? Sometimes he did disappear. It's like why is Vin Diesel throwing pushes in the air? I was like, oh shit, John Cena. It's John Cena. I was like, why is that gun floating? Oh, John Cena. It makes sense. Isn't Luke Black's pilot in these movies? Yeah, he's a pilot. He's like a pilot rocket scientist. He's a pilot and rocket scientist now, which I think is really funny. Yeah, John Cena's good comedic timing, and the thing is, they don't really use that at all for this movie because he is like, I am a fucking super spy. I'm dead fucking serious. I'm trying to save the world by destroying the world. Like that's his whole thing. And I don't think he's used the best in this film. Same with Dom. But again, Dom is always typically so serious in these movies, and the same with Letty and Mia. Now, I will say it was good to see Jordana Brewster come back for this because she's like, listen, I can't, I can't just be the mom anymore. And it did make sense because why she's coming back? It's like, oh, she's coming back because of Jacob, and that all works. And she has some fun action scenes, especially who she's paired with. And even like Letty and Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster, they have some good chemistry, and I like that their little objective is to, and it's not a spoiler, chat, we all know he's back, but to go find Han. An explanation as to Han. Now, the thing is, like, they explain what happens to Han. Okay, Han's back. That's there. That's not a spoiler. We all knew it was in the trailers and shit. They explain it, they show it, and it still doesn't make any sense, though. It's like, I see what you're doing. You can guess you can guess how it happened, who was involved, but I still don't know. I still don't know, like, the events at which it, again, that crash in Tokyo Drift shit, they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with that. And they do a fucking quick little camera trick, and it's like, that's not enough to explain what happened. And, then they have a throwaway piece of dialogue. It's like, yeah, that's still not enough. I mean, they explain it, but they also don't do enough to show it. That's the thing. They tell, don't show, which is a cardinal sin, I think, of filmmaking the majority of the time, chat. Blackstone, welcome to streaming. Thank you so much for resubscribing 3 months and a 3-month stream. Currently doing my non-spoiler review for F9. So, of course, these are no spoilers. Just talking about my general thoughts on the film and that kind of thing. So they explain why Han's back, to the extent that they do. And the one thing I will say, Chad, like, it was cool to see Han back, but I didn't feel like they did a lot with him. The thing is, here's what it is. They did a lot with him, but he's relegated to a role that I'm just like comes out of fucking nowhere. And it's just what he does, sadly. And it's like, God, that's a sad thing. And especially Justin Lin, because he's such good friends of what's his name? The guy, the actor who plays Han. Sun Kang. Where he's just delivering exposition. And he's just literally helping move around one of the other MacGuffins in the movie. That's kind of his job. And it's like, God damn it, I wanted to see more of the Han and camaraderie of everybody and the back and forth he has with people like Tyrese Gibson or Ludacris, like we saw in 5 and 6. And there's not a lot there, for him to do. So it's kind of disappointing. Deadpool, thank you for the 5 minutes. So my theory about Han being really brown pastry. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I mean, no spoilers. That it's incorrect. It's incorrect. It's pretty, like, how he's back is very simple, but at the same time doesn't make any sense. So it's like, okay, I get. Again, they explained it, but they didn't explain enough. It's like, all right, there you go. It happened, and now he's back. It was lazy. I'll tell you what, that was one of the most disappointing aspects of the movie, because I'm like, okay, here we fucking go. We're going to get a fucking explanation of how he's alive. He's going to wear a robo-suit. That's what it is. He's wearing the same robo-suit that he just, like, nah, it's nothing like that. Like, I'm just going to brace yourselves for, like, he's back. They explain it, but they don't do enough to explain it. And it's kind of like, oh, all right. Yeah, and so that was one of my disappointing aspects of the movie, was I didn't feel like they didn't do enough with Han. He's kind of relegated to, I'm giving you exposition, and I'm transporting around a MacGuffin thing. Thank you. Thank you. We had a new follower here, Chad. Thank you to Milkman Dan86 for the follow. You, my Huckleberry. Hope you're doing very, very well. very well. Now, some other characters I want to bring up. So, as I said, I thought Tyrese did a great job. Tyrese Gibson did a great job. Tej did a great job. Or, Ludacris did a great job. Everything they do is super, super fun. The action scenes that they're involved in are it kind of got like a little bit of a Rush Hour vibe to me at some cases, because they can bring the back and forth and the improv and the dialogue and the comedic timing. And I was actually really impressed by Natalie Emmanuel in this. Like, when she's paired with Tej, like, I can see why they have them together. When she's paired with Tej and Roman, it really works. There's a really fun action scene with them in London, and I think most people will get a kick out of it. I was like, oh, this is working for me. Another person who I thought I would have had her in the movie more was Helen Mirren. I thought Helen Mirren, she's in this. Now, this is what I was talking about. Like, you know how Dom is so serious in all these movies, especially after, like, Fate of the Furious. Like, 7, he has his great comedic stuff that he does with everyone else and Brian. Like, I think the big thing that hurt Dom, or maybe, hurts Vin Diesel's performance, is that Paul Walker really did bring out a lot of levity in him. They had such a great camaraderie, and you really do feel his absence. I think that's what it is. Like, that was the missing ingredient. I mean, it's true to Dom, what Dom does in these films, because he was not in, of course, Fate of the Furious, Chad, and he's not in F9. And like the back and forth that they had, because that was one of my favorite things about Fate of the Furious, excuse me, not Fate of the Furious, but Fast and Furious, and the original of the Fast and Furious. Like, they have really good chemistry, and they're funny together, and you like being with them. Like, they are a good duo. They're a really good duo. And yeah, I think this Vin Diesel his character just feels like it's just, it's not to make a pun, but like spinning its wheels. Like, okay, I know you're being a dad and everything. You just want to be a good dad and a good husband. That's really it now. But that friendship that he had with Paul Walker really worked. And the same thing where I don't think like the Roman and Tej thing would work if either of them were gone. Like, that dynamic works for them. And with incorporating Natalie Emmanuel, like with the absence of Paul Walker, chap, Vin Diesel feels a little rudderless in these movies now. And yeah, it makes me really miss the Brian O'Connor character at this point. But to that point, what I think really helped though was when Vin Diesel was paired with Helen Mirren in the movie. Like, they have like a series of scenes together, and they're really fun, and they're comedic. There's a whole chase sequence, and there's something that leads up before that, or it happens before that, and it was like, wow, this is really cool. And I'm like, you should make her a fucking member of the family, honestly. I mean, she helps him out. She's helped him out in these past 2 movies, and she's kind of like one of the better things. And she was great in Hobbs and Shaw for her minor role, when she's playing Cruella de Vil. I want to see her more, and I get it, because, she's busy doing all these things. She's like, you have me for like 2 weeks, and that's it, if that. A week of filming, and then I'm done. But I would love if she became more of a member of the family at this point, kind of like a mother hen type character. Yeah, his character got dumb with that scene at the. I'm trying to remember. Like, there's a lot of dumb. Listen, there's a lot of dumb scenes in movies. Some of the dumb works, sometimes it doesn't. I think for the most part, the dumb works in this movie. It didn't bother me. The fast, the geriatric. Hey, man. Her whole, you saw it in the car in the trailer, like her running away from the fucking cops and shit. It's dumb, but it's fun. And her back and forth with Vin Diesel throughout that sequence, I thought was great. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. You need that for Dom. You need to pair him with someone who can, have that rapport with. Because with Letty, it's always, not that like him and Michelle Rodriguez are bad together, but it's always so fucking serious nowadays. And I wish it was a little lighter in tone. And same with me, and same thing with Jacob. Now, I don't know if that will change over time, depending. I don't want to get into very spoiler territory, but maybe that'll change. But you really do feel the absence of Brian in these movies, Chad, especially in Fate of the Furious, and to a degree in this film. Although, I mean, Justin Lin, he's his cinematographer, wherever he has, they perfectly showcase all these locations they go to. The movie looks beautiful. When we go to South America, we go to Edinburgh, we go to London, we go over all the goddamn place. It all looks really fucking good. And all the action pieces, I've already spoke to a bit of them before. Each action piece I think is great in this film. Like, there's some that I think are just kind of like in Fate of the Furious that were just like, this is fucking, it's too ridiculous. Like the whole zombie car scene, I was like, I didn't really particularly care for that. That one was too dumb. But all the action scenes here, I really liked it. Like the first one we go in South America, in Edinburgh, chat, where we're dealing with when they first discover magnets, when the fucking Fast and Furious team discovers magnets, that is great. And they're like, whoa, we can use these. And then like they have the last big, and of course we have all the stuff with Dom and Jacob just punching the shit out of each other all the time. Like, you know, their brawls and stuff, and how these guys just don't fucking take damage. Or they're like tacking each other off of buildings only to land on like a car that's passing by and just get up and keep fighting. Like, that's all great. It's stupid, but I liked how it just kept escalating. Like, they're superhumans. And even the characters, even there's like a little subplot. Tyrese is like, how are we able to do all this shit? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's really funny. And of course, you know, the last action, like we have like a kind of like a Battle of Endor sequence here, chat, which I think is really cool, where we have stuff that's going on the ground with this giant fucking tank like bus or whatever. It's like these multiple cars connected, and there's like this centipede tank. It's like this giant centipede tank, and then everything that's happening, you know, we saw in the trailers in space. Loved all that. Loved the back and forth and stuff. It was over the top. Also, I would say this, you know, where I thought like Otto and Jen, like they were fine. You know, in terms of if I were to rank them as the villains, like, I don't know. Like, they didn't have enough. Like, they're no Deckard Shaw. It's not Deckard Shaw. It's not Idris Elba. Because Idris Elba, he brought some humor to his role. And Jacob fucking is so goddamn serious all the time. Wish they didn't do that. And Otto, I mean, he's like the more comedic, goofy character. But even then, it's like, he's fine. He's just like a prissy rich boy. I actually like what they did with Cypher, with Charlize Theron. She has a much smaller role. They Hannibal Lecter her. And I like that. And I think it really worked for the movie. And she had some more, and she had some more comedic scenes, which I thought was nice. I love what the ending, what they do with her. I just don't want to spoil it, but I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, but overall, chat, you know, it was very entertaining. I think it was definitely a step up from Fate of the Furious. Is it as good as Justin Lin's, you know, Fast 5 or Fast and Furious 6? No. I think you really do feel the absence of Paul Walker in these, and bring out a little more levity from Vin Diesel. And so I think that's a big element that was missing. But at the same time, it was fun. It was fun. I'm hoping that for the next two, which I imagine Justin Lin's directing both of those at this point, that they bring a little levity back and they don't make fucking Dom such a goddamn sourpuss. And the same thing with some other characters who are obviously going to return. That's all I will say. So maybe Vin and John Cena were fighting like Hobbs and Shaw. Pretty much. They exactly with no super suits. They were fighting like Hobbs and Shaw, but with no super suits. Naya Brownie, hard hands. Hey, great to face you again. How you doing? Good to have you here, Naya Brownie. Just doing like you know, just an in general review of F9. Kind of sharing my thoughts on the story and the characters and the settings and the action set pieces and things. I'm sure people have been saying a lot how they feel about it. Yeah. Oh. So he's fine the next 2 moments of 2 films. That's fine. He's doing them back to back, I guess. Yeah, I just hope they bring a little more levity to it, because I know they have the comic relief characters in you know, Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris and Natalie Emmanuel, and Helen Mirren. But yeah, I hope they just do more. They just bring a little more levity to Vin Diesel and the other actor who's going to return and fill the void of Brian O'Connor, of Paul Walker. It's like they need to have a better camaraderie. And Han was the one. Han was one of the biggest disappointments in this movie, Chad, which I did not think I'd say. They didn't really do much with him, so I'm just preparing you for that. It's just like how they explain how he comes back, but it's not really, you know, fulfilling at all. And he's just doing a lot of exposition, and he's doing MacGuffin stuff, and I'm like, didn't really care for that. That was the thing that surprised me the most. Was how I was like, didn't really like. Honestly, it's like this point, it's like you're not gonna do anything really cool with Han. Maybe you should have kept him dead. Honestly. Yeah, that's more I think about it, unless you come up with a really, like, had they just done something really stupid with him, how to bring him back, when I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. And they just don't do anything. It's not even, it's stupid, but not in a good way. It's just like, oh, that's it, really? All right. All right. So, but overall, chat, like, and the action, you know, the action sells. Like, there's not a weak action moment in this movie. Whereas in Fate of the Furious, I thought there was some weaker stuff or stuff. I'm like, I just didn't really dig this. This one's much better. I would give it, Chad, I'd give this, it's a solid matinee. Solid matinee. If I were to rank it in the, thank you. Thank you to ABC Queer 12 for the follow. You, my new Huckleberry. Welcome to stream. If I were to rank this, Dobby's free, thank you for the 10 minis. We'll have 10 reveal that the family is mutant DNA like the X. I hope so. Ba-na-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na-na, ba-na-ba-na. I hope so. Makes sense. Eddie Berserker, thank you for the $2. But the MacGuffin, there's a lot of MacGuffins in this movie. There is literally a MacGuffin that they hold and a walking MacGuffin. There's 2. And when you put them together, they make the super MacGuffin. 5 out of 5 shirtless Hans. No shirtless Hans in this. At least I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I didn't see a shirtless Han. You see Han in a wig. You see current day Han in a Han wig from like Tokyo Drift era, but not shirtless Han, sadly. Actually, I think with 5 biddies. Aside from the Chinese money, how long does this franchise have? It seems to be trying to top the next movie. They're going to hit some point. Yeah, no, I mean, even I said that Fate of the Furious felt tired, and 7 was such a great send-off. It was just like an emotional ending for not only for the Brian O'Connor character, but just for the series itself. It's hard to top something like that, and that's why Fate of the Furious felt tired. And this one is better than Fate, but it still has some issues. It still has some issues, and just they didn't really use all the characters. Maybe the cast is just too big. Maybe it's that thing when you keep expanding the family, but there's some characters you didn't really have enough to do with them. You know, and I was like, again, for with Han, which I was very surprised about, especially because him and Justin Lin are so close. Yeah, Rebecca, that might happen. Well, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Gal Gadot might be dead. Rental for you. I'm gonna read some of your comments. I'm gonna go back and read some of your comments, chat. Josh, thank you for the 100 biddies. I gotta spend a minute on DTD here. Christopher Juicy Herman. I came over and cleaned out all my bourbon like an alcoholic truffle pig. Classic. No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Not at all. That's going to go help to pay for the tires, Joshua. It's my sweet baby broccoli eating boy. Is that what they called me? An alcoholic truffle pig. I love it. But yeah, chat. No, I give it it's a solid matinee movie. It was entertaining. I didn't mind paying the price I paid for it. If I were to rank it, it's definitely better than Fate of the Furious. I don't think it's as good as I like Hobbs and Shaw a little bit more. I definitely like Hobbs and Shaw a little bit more. I would say my ranking still goes at this point. Furious 7. Furious 7 is still number 1. Fast and Furious 6. Fast 5. I'll go Hobbs and Shaw. Then I'll go F9. I'll go F9. Then I'll go The Fast and the Furious. Fast and Furious 4. The Fate of the Furious. Tokyo Drift and Too Fast, Too Furious. Those would be my new record. Was it worth losing the tire over? No. Thank you, Edgy Berserker. It was not. What about you, the rest of you guys? I was kind of going on my own spiel. What do you think? Chris, the first movie I walked out in years just because I had the MC A-list pass and the girl and I were more hungry than we were rich in seeing the schlop action. Not my thing. I get you. Justin Lin is Too Fast. What David Yates was to the Potter. I mean, yeah, they keep making the same movies, entries in the same franchise. Here's the stinger. You stick around. Yeah, I know what the stinger is. So I didn't stick around for it, but I know what it is, and I watched it online afterwards. What I'll say about the stinger is, because it's a spoiler, it sets up possibly 2 things. I don't want to say because they're both spoilers, but all I'll say is it either sets up events for F10 and F11 or spinoff. That's all I'll say. Spinoff, maybe a sequel to a spinoff that we've already seen. Yeah. Thanks, I hate it. Not funny. Oh, Lord. Let's see what else you guys are saying. So maybe they should just ditch the story, just do whatever and go crazy. Well, it's like they can still have this story because they got to deal with, I see, again, I'm getting spoilers, but they got to deal with like the supervillain thing. It's just like, let's just escalate this. Like, I really do think like if you want to go dumb, like that's what works. I'm not like one of those guys who's like, oh, this is so dumb. Like you can go dumb, but you got to earn it. You got to have a lot of fun with it. And you got to like be over the top. Like they're dumb in some ways where it's like, that's all you need to know. Like with the Han thing. Like, I think the Han explanation is dumb, but it's not dumb in a fun way. It's just dumb in a lazy way. It's just like, really? That's it? This big mystery which we were building towards? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, we're building towards this, like, oh, how Han's come back? How do you run a bring him back? We see all these fucking things. Deckard Shaw was involved. Like, oh, shit. Like, and it's just like, they done all this retconning, and they do it, but it's like, oh, really? That's it? All right. It's disappointing. Thank you. The 10 minutes back, Shield, Top Shaw, and Too Fast, Too Furious are your top 2. I mean, there are a lot more people saying that Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift are like in their top 3 and stuff. I really enjoy Hobbs and Shaw. I gave Hobbs and Shaw a high matinee. I only have a couple problems with that movie. Give me 9 Fast, Furious, and Avengers crossover. Well, the thing is, as I was going to say, the curse are getting really dumb. They should do the Jurassic Park crossover. I think that's what the next 2 movies should be about. Cypher's brother comes in, and he's like, I'm going to help you out, sis. And I recently acquired InGen, and we're gonna use dinosaurs at this point, or I don't know, something to cause chaos on the mainland, North American mainland, and we're gonna commit all these fucking crimes. Like they want to, like Cypher's, like her whole thing is like, I want to start a new world order, And what if she or her brother or little sister? Because they always there's always fucking brothers and sisters to the villains and shit, and they're like, I will get revenge for you. And have them come in, and how it's like, how about for our new world order, we'll just wipe out all of humanity with dinosaurs. That's what they should fucking do at this point. I'm like, yes, that's how they have to get dumb. I'm like, that's when you fully embrace it and it works. And it doesn't feel lazy. It's just fun dumb. And I don't mind with that at all. They should definitely cross over with Jurassic Park at this point. Like, I'm not joking. Never had your car, could never existed. No. Hamlin Burger. So this might be a morbid question. Which person do you think will die first? Not really what we're talking about. Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, or Jimmy Carter. I don't know. Bill Clinton had a lot of health issues because he ate a lot of bad shit, and he seems to be relatively healthier nowadays. Donald Trump, he like rage is keeping him alive, resentment, but he's got a really bad diet. Jimmy Carter's up there. He's like in his 90s now. He's like constantly hospitalized. I don't know. Gal Gadot comes back for F10 F11 Wonder Woman. That's how she started. There we go. What happened? I don't like Fate, but I remember that scene in New York. This one, I really don't remember anything. It was just another one film. Fair enough. This is man, I want Han to have the super serum. Same. I wanted that too. Yeah, why he came back, it would have been cool. Yeah, had they done that, had they gave him the super suit and Idris Elba thing, it was like, oh, cool. But they don't do that. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not even a spoiler. It's just like, I'm not going to tell you what they do, all right? But it's not, I don't think it was satisfying. Dad will think of 5 days. I wouldn't I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling family. Indeed. That's what Cypher's always saying. Hey, Berserker, if you can't handle me at my fast, you don't deserve me at my furiousest. Chris, was it worth getting your charge? Nope, it was not. Batboy, I'm still waiting for Mr. Nobody to do his face turn where he reveals that he's been behind everything, including Cypher being behind shit. I have a question about Mr. Nobody in this movie, but I don't want to say anything because it's a big spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. All I'll say, I can't say it. I'm confused about Mr. Nobody at the moment. That's all I'll say. Too Fast, Too Furious, one of my guilty pleasures. No, there's some fun stuff in there. It's not a bad movie. I don't like none of these movies. I'd give some old bullshit. I think Too Fast, Too Furious, I gave a rental to, and I gave Tokyo Drift a high rental. None of these I think are just oh, these are awful movies. No, they're all entertaining for various reasons. Oh. They really should have a crossover Transformers. I'd be fine with that too. If they want to do Transformers, that'd be cool. I mean, I like the idea of Jurassic Park more. But, we'll go with Transformers. Fast and Furious, Con Godzilla. That would also be cool. The Kaiju, wouldn't mind that. The first I was off topic, wasn't it? A little bit. Kirby Jack, thank you for the 5 biddies. Next is Corey. Good to see you. It's so weird to see Corey with a Hawaiian shirt. Oh, shit. Is he rocking the Hawaiian shirt? Is that what he's doing right now? Good for him. Good for him. He's doing cocktails with the Colemans. I wonder if people are mentioning Corey. Are they streaming right now? I didn't know. Goofy movie series, but it's not anything offensive. They'll still pretty entertaining. Yeah, exactly. They're all entertaining to an extent. I've liked, my favorites to this day, my top 3, Fury 7, Fast Fury 6, and 5. Those are really good. And then, of course, the other ones I've given matinees to. Those are really entertaining. The ones I'd watch over again. I'd watch F9. I'd watch F9 over again. I would. I'd watch Fast and Furious 4 over again. The ones I probably wouldn't, I don't feel the need to watch over again unless I'm doing, watch parties for them or something. But, I don't feel the need, or let's watch clips. I don't feel the need to watch Too Fast, Too Furious ever again, or Tokyo Drift ever again, or Fate of the Furious. Those 3, I'm yeah, I'm good. Other ones I'd watch again. I wouldn't have an issue with it. I admit I haven't seen 1 and 2. I really like 1. It's Point Blank, but it's good. It's a good remake. Yes. No, it's fine. I said my thunder. But yeah, an overall chat. I enjoyed the movie. I think it's worth seeing. At a matinee price, I think you'll be satisfied. Just be prepared for, some disappointment in regards to characters like Han. That's my biggest takeaway. I was God damn, really? They didn't really do much with him in this movie, chat. And they really need to get a better pairing with Vin Diesel at this point. I don't know if that's gonna be a certain character is gonna come back. But I don't know. Now, I've heard a rumor that they're bringing back the Brian O'Connor character. Is that true? Now, they don't do anything. Is that happening? Because I did not know that was happening. Are they going to do some, CGI stuff with him? Because I heard like Corey and Martin, because I was watching the show when I woke up this morning, chat, and they were saying they're bringing back the Brian O'Connor character. Are they doing like the body double stuff with like of his brothers and doing CGI and archive footage? Not sure I'll have any interaction in this movie unless it's spoiler. I can't say. I cannot say. Plastic surgery, I don't know. I hope they don't do that. The thing is, I don't know. It's weird. Because they constantly acknowledge that he's alive, like in these movies. And it's like, I get why. Because the character's alive, the actress just isn't. And they bring back Mia, and she talks about Brian in the film. But, you know, he's at home watching the kids because he's retired. But, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They gave him such a great send-off in 7. I think it'd just be really awkward if they would just to bring him back. And I don't know. That's what we're getting in that territory. We're bringing back dead people, you know, and using their face for their like performances in movies they never agreed to be in. It's like kind of weird, right? I mean, unless the estates sign off and like, hey, we're fine with this, but it's like, you know, it's weird. They use some shit like that in Star Wars movie like CG. Yeah, Tarkin. Yeah, with who's the actor that plays Tarkin? You guys know the actor. Help me out here. The guy who played Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. Peter Cushing. Yeah, they used his face, and I was like, that was kind of weird to me. Especially when let's recast him. They should have just recast him. I think that would have been totally fucking fine. And that's when it wasn't his CGI wasn't as bad as Leia's. I'm like, Jesus. Like Leia's, she looked like she looked like a CGI character. We're talking like Peter Cushing has, you know, he wasn't a handsome man, Chad. Let's just say that way. He had unusual features. And so that made him, maybe made the CGI for me work a little bit better than for Leia's face, who just looked like a plastic fucking doll. It was very weird. Yeah, with Carrie Fisher. I didn't think it worked with Carrie Fisher. She has much less screen time than Tarkin does in Rogue One, but hers was like, ooh. They didn't even need to fucking do that. What they could have, there's a much better way to do that. And they were just like, we're going to show off the technology. The technology was not there yet. Like, Marvel's been the best at doing the CGI face thing. But that's with actors who are still fucking alive. I don't think they should just have his brother play Brian's brother's son. I mean, yeah. They just really need to get Vin Diesel paired with another actor who can have that comedic camaraderie again, because he doesn't have it with, you know, John Cena, is all I'll say. But again, the circumstances didn't call for them to be comedic with each other, so that's, you know, that criticism is not fair. Future films, we'll see. Did the actor they put his face on look enough like Cushing to where? Yes, he does. Like, the actor they got does look like Peter Cushing. It's like, just use the fucking guy to play the character. Would have been fine. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It was weird. That they feels like they did it just to do it. It's like, see, look at this amazing advancement. It's like, yeah, it's not there yet. It's not there yet, honey. There's a movie about that whole idea of bringing dead actors back to life, and movies called The Congress. Oh, shit. Like, I wonder if that's going to be a thing. Can we see movies with Humphrey Bogart again? It's like, what in the hell? Be weird. Where his estate just sells his likeness, and he's in all these films. Black Sun Dwayne Johnson is funny, but there's a beat between him. Between him and Vin Diesel. That's why The Rock wasn't in here. And I missed The Rock. The Rock could have been used well in this film. I think it would have been good. Had the Vin Diesel and The Rock maybe had a good, maybe they fucking got along. I would have liked to have seen them go back and forth, but we didn't get that. Yeah. Remember that movie that used a digitized James Dean in it? I never saw that movie. I don't know. I heard about it, but I never saw it. I just thought it would be cool if they did an Ant-Man prequel following Hank Pym and the first Wasp and the 80s spy threat. Yeah, it would be interesting to see. You can see Michael Douglas make a look at that is some of the best of that CGI face stuff that they've used so far. I thought that was pretty goddamn good. Like, it's like, okay, I know there's like something like a little weird, but it was pretty goddamn good. I was not turned off by it. I was like not going, oh, like I was with Tarkin or to a much greater extent Leia in Rogue One. You think Vin is a good actor, or is he only good in the No, I think he's a good actor. He's been good in other stuff. Yeah. I think just like he plays himself and everything now. But no, I mean he's been in some really good things over the years. Yeah, but I think he's just typecast. Maybe they could bring The Rock back and get them to work together. His gift is wrangling a large ensemble cast. Yeah, I mean, he does it well. Well, you know, he does it well for the most part. Just in this one, I just didn't think he gave a lot of people much to do. Especially Han. I hate to keep hammering that point home, but it's like, yeah. The RDJ, excuse me, de-aging Civil War. That was like the weirdest scene in that movie. Like, I liked how they explained it. It was like, oh, shit. With, you know, in Far From Home. I was like, oh, okay, that's why he looks the way he does. But yeah, that looked a little weird. I agree. Imagine thinking for the 10 base if Vin was just interviewed. Probably because they just see Robert Downey Jr. like all the fucking time. I was like, oh, shit. And they was just interviewing and said The Rock was busy with Black Adam. He hopes and Hobbs and Shaw 2-bit, they're both good. And that's good. I'm happy to hear that. No, and these Hobbs and Shaw. So I'm glad Hobbs and Shaw 2 are working. They are setting. I think they could possibly be setting up something cool for Hobbs and Shaw 2, Chad, that leads in to from F9. I don't want to say what it is. I was like, oh, that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Richard Ghostslayer, good to see him. Blackstone, that Triple X sequel, Diesel did felt like oh yeah, no, definitely did. Felt like they were aping the Fast Furious. I hated that movie. The movie was so bad. Like the original, like Triple X, was like I thought it was so boring. It was a boring film. But that other movie, was awful. I did not like 2 Hobbs, 2 Shaw, and maybe adding another ingredient in there, chat. And I'm hoping for that. We'll see. I won't spoil it, but overall, chat, I hope you enjoyed. This is just a regular review, like a nice little back and forth, just kind of sharing my thoughts as they popped into my head. But, yes, I thought it was an entertaining enough movie. They do some fun stuff, a number of the characters. Some, not so much. Really liked all the action scenes. But, you know, some people didn't like them. I actually really enjoyed them. I thought they were goofy. I thought they were more interesting than the ones in Fate of the Furious. So, overall, chat, matinee. A matinee from me. Now, chat, I will be right back. I'm going to go ahead and refill my beverage. Going to freshen that thing up.